Every single year, Roblox holds the Innovation Awards. These awards exist to recognize the best Roblox games, developers, content creators, and more recently, UGC creators. For the yearly award show, the players get chances to vote for games and popular figures that they think should win in their respective categories in a voting hub. At least that's how it usually goes. In May, everyone submitted their nomination picks, then fast forward to the beginning of July, and the first round of voting was set to begin. It's natural to want your game to win, and everybody assumed that at least a few developers would pander to their player bases in order to boost their votes, but nobody thought it would get as crazy as it did. This year, Roblox decided to try something different alongside the regular voting hub formula, and I can say pretty confidently that it was not the best idea they've ever had. It fell off the rails almost immediately, and the event developed a poor reputation mostly because of one specific game. The Strongest Battlegrounds' owner, who we'll refer to as Santino or the owner, decided to ask the TSP Discord server of nearly 1 million people to vote for the game in the categories it was nominated in. Okay, cool. But what nobody expected was for him to also say that he would allow everyone in the game to use the highly, massively coveted admin character for an absolutely free playtest if the game won. Won what? We'll get into that. They were also promised quicker development of the most anticipated free character in the game's history, but everyone just shrugged that off and forgot about it. The mouths started frothing immediately once they heard KJ. What is a KJ? KJ is the name of this admin character that millions of people dream of using in the Strongest Battlegrounds one day. It's inspired by a series of animated videos featuring a character called KJ, and it's this game's big budget character. You gotta give the devs credit here. It looks really good. KJ's Final Ride is the one specific video that the vast majority of TSP players know KJ from, and its growth over time is almost a perfect representation of how many people actually want to use it. This admin moveset became obtainable in April when KJ's Final Ride had around 800,000 views, and around 4 months later, it has 7.5 million. This admin character can only be obtained as a reward through being the top donator of the month or the top donator of all time in TSB. The current top donator has spent over 4 million Robux just to make sure nobody takes KJ away from him. And others often compete for top donator of the month by spending at least 1 million Robux, which just goes to show how serious people are about this. The owner promising this character as a reward basically confirmed that the Strongest Battlegrounds would win in every single category it was in, with absolutely no competition except for one. On July 1st, the voting began. The main voting area was RDC voting, which had various categories to vote in such as People's Choice, Best New Experience, Best UGC Creator, Best Video Star, and Best Branded Experience. This is the same every year, and the winners get announced during the Innovation Awards show at RDC 2024. And if you don't know what RDC is, you're definitely not alone. RDC is a big meetup of a bunch of Roblox staff, developers, content creators, and any person that's generally important to the Roblox empire. All of the new Roblox features are talked about at this exclusive show, and the Innovation Awards also take place here. Mr. Bazuki, you really do know how to get the crowd going. I don't know what your magic is, but you just have that presence. You have aura, as the kids nowadays would say. Hopefully SimBuilder doesn't show up this year. TSB was nominated for People's Choice, as well as Driving Empire, Dress to Impress, and Gunfight Arena. After everybody voted in the RDC categories, they were greeted with the other side of the voting hub. Every day there would be a new category for players to vote in, and these categories seemed different. The 12 categories were Best Obby, Best Shooter, Best Horror, Best Fashion, Best Action/RPG, Best Racing, Best Strategy, Best Roleplay/Life Sim, Best Education, Best Social/Hangout, Best Tycoon, and Best Fighting Game. It would change through each category once every 24 hours while players casted their votes. The most important thing to take note of with these categories is the fact that after you cast your vote, each game would display the amount of votes they got, while the RDC vote count was not displayed anywhere. At first, this just seemed like a cool way to view the voting, but when you actually think about how this system works, you might be left scratching your head a little bit. Alongside these categories is an area where you can predict which game is going to win in a specific category, and if you get the prediction right, you can get points, which can lead to unlocking avatar items. For some reason, you could predict which game was going to win while the vote was still happening, at the cost of potential points you could have gotten by predicting earlier. I don't think I need to explain why this could be a problem, or is a problem, but I'll do so anyways. There were multiple ways that players could have found out how many votes a specific game had, whether it be through their friends or through a YouTube/TikTok page. Then there's also the unavoidable issue, that is players voting for the most popular game, even if they can't see the votes. It makes the most sense and gives them the highest chance of getting more points. All of this means that the game that was in the lead would stay in the lead forever. You needed 750 points to get all of the items, and I came out of this with nearly 600 points. There are genuine voters out there, and they did show themselves in a few categories, but the vast majority of the categories were just popularity contests. Even if this system was perfect, the KJ motivation would completely destroy it. The Strongest Battlegrounds' first category was, oddly enough, Best Strategy. It's in here with Tower Defense Simulator, the game that relies almost entirely on strategy. TSB proceeded to get 100,000 votes in 10 minutes, and 24 hours later, it steamrolled everyone else with over 1.6 million votes. I think it's safe to say that this made a lot of people incredibly mad. What I haven't mentioned so far is any of the other votes. You see, TSB wasn't the only game that had or was going to have boosted votes. Plenty of other developers promised their communities special things in return for votes. Some of the games involved were Souls RNG, Blox Fruits, Type Soul, Tower Defense Simulator, and a few others. My personal favorite instance of voter fraud in this whole thing is when Hasm got a few e-celebs to shill for Please Donate. The best one by far was iShowSpeed's support video where he looked very happy about giving Hasm a helping hand to win in the Best Social/Hangout category.
Shout out to my boy Hasm, vote for Please Donate. Come on.
But of course it was not enough, and Brookhaven absolutely slammed everyone. Perhaps the funniest case of developers boosting their game is the fashion category. The 4 games were Catalog Avatar Creator, Fashion Famous, Dress to Impress, and Royal High. You'd think Dress to Impress would absolutely clear this, but it turns out people care more about actual Roblox fashion than Dress to Impress fashion. Catalog Avatar Creator had a massive lead until the DTI developers decided to bribe their players with a code for more votes, which did not end up working out for them. A lot of people got a little bit mad and said things that I can't show on YouTube, but at least we have players like Queso who bring unrivaled positive energy to Dress to Impress. This is slay. All of these games did bribe people in some sort of way, yet none of them were on the level of the Strongest Battlegrounds, promising this free admin character. Like, come on. They literally went as far as to add the admin character as a selectable option in the character list, but when you went to actually try to click on it, you were met with bribery and no character. I really do think that the other games got swallowed into this bribing hate train along with TSB, when in reality, TSB should have been the only one on that train. Do you seriously think that any of these other games presented anything as significant as free KJ, or went as far as it did to get people to vote? I think not. The Strongest Battlegrounds, as I explained before, is probably the biggest voting force next to another specific game, so it would be pretty dumb to make all of them mad, right? The owner, Santino, made a grave mistake when making the announcement that told everyone that they would get a free playtest of this admin character. The way he phrased it never confirmed if TSB needed to win in all of the categories, or just one, or 2, or whatever number. So of course, after TSB completely dominated Best Strategy, the community demanded the free admin character right away. But they didn't get it. He said that he would explain everything after all of the voting was over. To me, it's almost like he didn't realize the scale of this promise and kind of rushed it. But let's not jump to conclusions. He claimed that for each category TSP won in, KJ would be available for longer, further enticing everyone to vote. Shortly after some chaos in the Yielding Arts Discord server, Santino edited and deleted some messages regarding the admin character. Oopsie. The initial announcement was edited from "We will allow a temporary playtest of KJ" to "We promise good things," with a KJ emoji. This got him lots of accusations for scamming and cheating and all the like. His explanation for the changes was that he needed to make the message shorter, which is understandable considering how much flood this whole campaign created. All of this was leading to the biggest point in this entire event. The strongest battlegrounds had one more vote to clear, and it was up against the strongest opponent it would ever face, Bloxfruits. On Saturday, July 13th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, voting for the best fighting game category began. There were so many people voting that the live count completely broke, so we had to remedy it by spam rejoining private servers to get the real count. The strongest battlegrounds' lead over Bloxfruits continued to get larger by the minute, and a few hours later, there was just no chance of redemption. The strongest battleground successfully defeated the second most popular Roblox game, Bloxfruits, by an insane 1.4 million votes. You'd think that a game that averages 500,000 players would have much more support, but sadly for Bloxfruits, this just wasn't the case. And now that this was all over, it was time for the owner of TSB to give everybody the free admin character. Right? Nothing. There was nothing. After the vote ended, the free admin character was absolutely nowhere to be seen. 2 days went by, and it was very unclear as to what was actually happening. And then all of a sudden, every single message related to the admin character becoming free were gone from the TSB Discord server. Why? Well, it turns out that Roblox themselves got involved. Throughout this entire voting period, a decent amount of developers manipulated the votes, which we've gone over already. I guess TSB stuck out just a little bit too much, and Roblox brought the hammer down. The owner was going to release the admin character, but Roblox said that Santino had to wait until the award show was over before doing something as silly as that. The award show was, or is, scheduled for September 7th, nearly 2 months from the time of the announcement that the owner made about this whole thing. And just like that, millions of Roblox players were absolutely devastated. It's easier for the older crowd to move on from stuff like this or just wait it out. But when you're a kid, 2 months feels like 10 years. It really is unfortunate, but Santino has to follow the rules. We have no clue what Roblox would do if he didn't, but it's safe to say that it wouldn't be all sunshine and rainbows. For fans of the strongest battlegrounds, I wouldn't get too beat up about this. 2 months is a long time indeed, but it's also a long time for the developers to work on more attacks for this admin character. I wouldn't get all sad just yet. Lots of people can use this whole thing as a learning experience, developers and players alike. Don't screw with the numbers, just let the votes happen. And Roblox could just not follow this formula next year and try something else. How about it?